Enjoy 1% merchant commission when you accept Lanka Pay cards. Contact these banks today.
Joining us to further explain the industry situation on edible oils, we have Mr. Atul Chaturvedi, Chairman of Asian Palm Oil Alliance. Welcome, Mr. Chaturvedi. To start off with, could you please enlighten us on the Indian experience of the oilseed sector?
India in the late 90s of the last century
Yeah.
was reasonably self-sufficient, and we were only importing roughly about 300,000 tons of oil. But then as Indians progressed and Indian income levels went up, per capita consumption also shot up. Now you have a scenario where India is importing close to about 16 million tons. And I repeat, 16 million tons. And our consumption, which used to be in the region of about 7 to 8 million tons in the 90s, is now 25 million tons and growing at about 3 to 4% per annum. Indian scenario is concerned, we have not been too good at managing our oilseed scenario. So, and we've compromised edible oil security or self-sufficient to a very great extent. That should be a learning experience for Sri Lanka as well, because Sri Lanka also, I understand, is now almost something like 70 to 75% of its consumption is import driven. That's an alarming situation.
Heading the sustainability organization in this sector, how do you see sustainability in the oilseed sector in Asia?
India, with the scenario changing and our dependence on imports growing big time, and almost 18 to 19 billion dollars worth of imports, which is what we are doing, so has actually rung the alarm bells in the decision makers. Now we understand that the country is on the verge of launching national mission on oilseeds, with the result that they want to bring down the import dependence sizably. So, and India is now willing to pump in a lot of money. Palm, whether we like it or not, is one of the best oils in terms of productivity. 1 hectare gives you something like 4 to 5 tons, whereas soya or any other of that oil seed doesn't give you that kind of productivity.
We also have a ban on palm oil, so which brings me to the next question. What is your take on this ban?
What we read in the newspapers and all that, it was scientifically backed. It was for the good of the nation. But there are, you can see what the scenario now is, that you're importing almost 70-75% of your edible oil needs. And palm oil in Sri Lanka had the right kind of atmosphere. You've got reasonably good rains and you are within closeness to the equator, which helps in palm. But my take is that you probably shot your own foot, which doesn't make sense. And for what reason, we don't know. And coming to the scientific aspect of the ban, if palm was a Western product, then you would not have had all the bad presses. In fact, our part of the world is the one which is at the receiving end of all the wrong or misguided press releases or press notes or NGOs talking about it. So I think India doesn't care too much about this. And there's no reason why Sri Lanka should also. Asian Palm Oil Alliance, of which I happen to be the chairman, was actually formed, was to help debunking the myths around all the problems of palm.
When you say it like that, let me just put forward this to you. Palm oil is said to be a major driver of deforestation. I think that was also one of the reasons this ban came about in Sri Lanka. What is your take on this?
Few years back, I was actually in a seminar. I said when I was flying into Kuala Lumpur, it was green all over. And before that, a few months back, I was actually flying into Argentina and Brazil as well. There were practically no trees. Brazil is supposed to be the home for rainforests and whatnot. Amazonian belt, where the soya cultivation is taking place, it's all deforested. This part of the world, it's blown out of proportion. And I think Sri Lanka, there's no reason why they should be banning it. Some problems may have been there, but that doesn't mean it's an endemic thing. Banning it, then you might end up in a situation where edible oil prices would go through the roof.
Mr. Chaturvedi, thank you very much for those insights and enlightening us on the ground situation and the real picture. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you.